the President has indicated that flood control projects are a possible source of corruption, and the 2026 NEP includes over 250 billion pesos in flood control projects. So I would just like to ask if, from a fiscal perspective, the economic team has any objection if the House allocates much of this 250 billion pesos plus of flood control projects, let's say, for the sake of argument, 200 billion pesos of it, to, let's say, half education spending and half lower taxes.
Again, we'd like to repeat, Madam Chair, that the executive proposes the budget and then we leave it to the Congress whether you think it's wise to cut the flood control project and move it to education. But we welcome such because, again, the theme of our budget for next year will be really to increase our investment and spending in education.
Thank you, Madam Secretary, for the increase in the budget for the Department of Education this year. But the provision for construction of new classrooms is still approximately 13 billion pesos. And the DepEd has stated that it has the absorptive capacity to deliver more classrooms, but that the 13 billion peso figure is the result of the so-called fiscal space available. And therefore, I would just like to ask the economic team, Madam Chair, if there's any objection if the House reallocates the flood control budget to increase the 13 billion pesos that has been allocated to new classroom construction. I was earlier proposing that it partly be allocated towards tax cuts and classrooms, but for the sake of argument, considering that the DepEd has stated that there is a 165,000 classroom shortage, if we could allocate, let's say, 200 billion pesos to construct, let's say, 50,000 classrooms.
As long as the Department of Education can utilize fully the added allocation for the construction of classrooms, that will be okay.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I believe that the other members of Congress would be supportive because the President's general sentiments from his State of the Nation address is that he would like to close the gap on this classroom shortage, and that it seems to be a much more wise use of taxpayers' money than flood control projects.